that. At the end of the day, if you don't know your purpose, you won't be as apt to be as streamlined or intentional with your days. And the time, we know, is the asset that we can't get more of. Welcome back to the Creativity Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Peed. It's been an incredible year, and we're going to finish it strong today on the final podcast episode of the year. We're going to tackle 7 things every creative should do at the end of the year. But before we get into that, I want to remind you that everything I do is to help creatives know themselves, their process, and their teams so that they can create greater things together. And we have done a lot of that this year, and I'm excited more than ever for 2025 and how we are able to continue to do that together in this new year. If you're new to the podcast, you can follow me on social media at Dustin Peed, P-E-A-D. You can follow me online, dustinpeed.com, to learn more about my coaching and consulting services for you. I want to remind you that my first book, Growing Upward, My Lifelong Journey Through Mental Health, is out, available wherever books are sold. I know it's on Amazon. The ebook is about to drop as well. And then the audiobook version is available on all the audiobook platforms. So go check that out. It would mean a ton to me for you to be able to read that before the end of the year and gain some insight into how you can tackle 2025 and make it the best year ever. So with that, let's dive into today's episode. 7 things every creative should do at the end of the year. I want to give you these, and then I'm going to give you a real practical application as to how I'm going to be implementing those for the rest of the year. First thing is you need to reflect. You need to reflect on what you have overcome. Listen, as creatives, we go through a lot, and it can be an emotional roller coaster sometimes. But I think it's important to not just leave those things in the wake and leave those moments behind us, but it's important for us to reflect on what we have overcome, how we have overcome it, who the players were involved, what can we learn from it, how can we be listening to what we can be taking away from these instances and these challenges that we've overcome. For myself this year, I've learned that I can do hard things, that there are things that I didn't think that I was going to be able to do that I can actually do. And I've been able to accomplish some things this year that I did not think was possible at all. Second thing you need to do, that leads us to the second thing, which is celebrate the wins. You have to celebrate the wins. We all know with our teams usually that we celebrate what we want repeated. The same is true for you. If you're listening to this right now and you're a team of one, if you don't celebrate what you have won in this year, it'll be difficult for you to replicate it because your mind hasn't recognized that, oh, that's a good thing. So you need to feed it some of that dopamine and go, hey, when I do this, it's a good thing. So let's do more of that. I love in my full focus journal, you guys know I've talked about it like it's my best friend. I love in my full focus journal that you get to write down some of the wins each day. Like what's the best thing that happened today? You also get, when you're planning out your goals, part of the goal planning method for Michael Hyatt and the full focus is for you to go ahead and predetermine how you're going to celebrate when you accomplish the goal. And I love it because it gives us, even if the goal of like, hey, losing 30 pounds is just too much for us to obtain, we can look at it and go, yeah, but when I do that, I'm going to get to celebrate in this way. And so even if the goal itself might not be the motivation for you in that moment, maybe the celebration is. But also, again, you're training yourself to know this activity, this accomplishment, this goal that I want to replicate and do more of is a good thing. So you're allowing yourself to celebrate it so that it becomes stickier. All right, number 3, 7 things every creative should do at the end of the year. Number 1, we said reflect what you have overcome. Number 2, celebrate the wins. Number 3, thank others. Listen, you haven't gotten to where you've gotten by yourself. There have been others along the way that have either paved the way, guided you along the way, provided the way, whatever the case may be. There are other people in your life, family, coworkers, friends, that have been there for you in ways that you may have never experienced before, or ways that you may have taken for granted. Today, Thanksgiving is a time this is coming out on Thanksgiving 2024. Today is an opportunity for you to thank those verbally face to face, but also write some thank you notes. I've invested early on in my career into making sure I always have thank you notes. I have these right here that say "From the Desk of Dustin Pete" on it. And it's just a postcard where I can write these once a week to a handful of people that I need to say thank you to, put it in the mail, and know that know that the people that are around me understand how grateful I am for them, and that it takes a village to do what we're out here to do in life, and it takes a community to do it. So make a practice of thanking others. Start that practice here at the end of the year. It's a natural time for us to be thankful anyway, and be reflective, like we talked about already. So thank other people. Number 4, review your purpose. Now, you may say, well, I don't even know what my purpose is. Maybe then let's start there. Let's spend the rest of the year before the new year kicks in defining what your purpose is. And there are all sorts of different ways to do that out there. You can Google that. At the end of the day, if you don't know your purpose, you won't be as apt to be as streamlined or intentional with your days. And the time, we know, is the asset that we can't get more of. And so if we want to maximize our day, maximize our creative output, understanding what our purpose is will help narrow that in each and every day. And so for me, a way that I review my purpose in a small scale is in my morning pages every day. I start with my purpose statement. I write that purpose statement as the very first thing in my morning pages every day when I'm doing that in the morning. And so it reminds me, hey, just remember, this is what you're about. This is what you're doing. But it also serves as a guardrail, right? If things start to kind of creep into my life and I go, whoa, wait, this is an opportunity for me to review that purpose and go, are these things lining up with what I'm supposed to be doing or not? Or is my purpose statement no longer super accurate? Do I need to shift some things in this season of life to match it? So number 4, review your purpose. Number 5, set goals for the new year. I know you might not like to set goals. It may scare you, even if it's just 1 or 2. Setting goals will help you accomplish the things that you didn't think were possible. And again, that's what I've experienced in the last couple of years, specifically as I've been implementing the full focus method. Again, not certified by Full Focus, but it does help me accomplish some things that I didn't think were possible. Sometimes the only way for you to really accomplish the things that you want to accomplish is to kind of state it very clearly. That's why we talk about SMART goals, right? State it very clearly, write it down, share it with accountability partners, and make actionable steps to get towards it. So use this time of the year to end of the year to begin to set your goals for the new year. All right. So first 5 so far: reflect on what you've overcome, celebrate the wins, thank others, review your purpose, set goals for the new year. Number 6, refuel. The way I do this, I've talked about it on this podcast before, is an intentional creative refuel day. Whatever refuels you creatively, you need to set aside time once a quarter to do that. And the end of the year is no different, because there's going to be lots of holiday parties, lots of family get-togethers, lots of obligations that you're going to have to attend. And combine that with all of your end of year work. If you don't make time to refuel yourself, by the time you get to January 1st, you're going to be exhausted and you're not going to be ready to tackle the new year. So make an intentional plan to get out and have a refuel day for yourself this year. Whatever refuels you creatively. It could be going to a movie, going to an art museum, playing golf. It doesn't matter. Spend a day doing that before the end of the year, and you will see the benefits of it as you enter into the new year. Lastly, a lot of do on this list. The last thing is simply to rest. Rest. That's what you need to do. You need to take a moment to rest, unplug, shut down the computer, walk away from work for a week, whatever it takes. In order to maximize your creativity in the new year, you have to end this year with a little bit of rest, and it won't happen unless you plan it. So plan out that rest and make sure that it's going to happen. Get it on the calendar. Let everybody know. You won't be reachable. You're just going to rest. You're not going to think about it. And when you come back in January, you will be refueled. So how am I going to take these things? I'm going to do all of them right now in the next couple of weeks as we end the year. I'm going to take the 7 things that I've laid out for you, and I'm going to put them into practice myself. I'm going to take a break from the podcast all throughout December and the beginning of January so that we can come back in mid to late January with a fresh batch of episodes and some great inspiration to inspire you to create your best work in the new year. I'm going to take the next few weeks, like I said, and do all of these things. I'm going to reflect on what I've overcome. I'm going to celebrate the wins. I'm going to thank other people. I'm going to review my purpose. I'm going to set goals for the new year. I have a date already on the calendar for when I'm going to go do that. I'm going to refuel tomorrow. Actually, I'm taking a refuel day, and I'm going to go to the art museum with my family, and it's going to be a great day. I'm going to review some things that I wanted to kind of spend some thinking time on. And then lastly, I'm going to rest. I'm going to take the whole last week of December off. We're going to travel home to Virginia to spend time with family, and I'm just going to rest, and I cannot wait for it. So those are 7 things that every creative should do at the end of the year. I cannot wait to be back with you in mid to late January of next year. So if you see a gap in episodes, if you're catching up, this is that gap that we're talking about right here. I cannot wait to be back with you, though. In the new year, we'll tackle new things together next time on Creativity Made Easy. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.